Do you want to know how to get kids to stop fighting? That is my specialty. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach self-government, parenting skills, and communication. And in this video, we're going to help you find the tools you need to end the fights. In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 things that you can do to stop those fights. When I was young, I fought with my brothers all the time. So there were 5 children in my family. I was the second to oldest. So I had an older brother and then 2 younger brothers and then the youngest sister. I don't think the youngest sister saw that much fighting, but the older 3, we fought. It was horrible. In fact, I remember my parents leaving to go on a date and saying, okay, you 2 oldest ones are in charge. That was the worst thing they could have ever said. Because then it was like, well, who's in charge of you and who's in charge of me? If we're both in charge, and well, who's the more in charge? And he'd be like, well, I'm the older. And I'm like, well, I'm the girl and I know better about what should happen, And so anyway, and we'd go back and forth and fight. And I remember my parents being gone and standing on couches and swinging broomsticks at each other, just arguing over who was going to be the most in charge. I mean, we fought over all kinds of things. My poor mother probably thought to herself, is this ever going to end? And luckily it did. I became very good friends with my siblings. In fact, to this day, we're all very close. So my parents persevered. That's the good news, is that even though the children fight, lots of times if the parents keep pushing toward unity, it will ultimately happen. So don't focus on the fights yourself. Keep focusing on the unity and solving the problems. But how do we focus on the unity? That's what I'd like to talk about now. So in our family, we created a family vision. This was a picture of who we were becoming in our Peck family. In fact, in my Teaching Self-Government Parenting course and in my book, Parenting a House United, I talk about creating a 20-year vision for the future. In this 20-year vision, we plan an activity or a holiday event sometime in the future. So for our family, it's Christmas Eve because that's a big deal. We have lots of traditions wrapped up in Christmas Eve, and it's something we're going to practice no matter what every year. We have this picture of the future. We've got smells associated with it. We've got feelings and conversations associated with this picture for the future. And we are constantly trying to make our everyday communications match that future picture of our family. Creating a vision of who you're becoming gives the family a reason to care about making a change now. In fact, not only did we create a family vision, which was a reason why we would care, but we also created a family mission statement, which I know I have videos on this channel about creating both of those things, so go look those up. But this family mission statement was something we would say every day to remind us how we were going to accomplish that vision and become that family that felt that way in the future. Then we have meetings where we check up on it. We are very deliberate about this direction that we are headed. So the vision leads to direction. So create a vision for your family. Before I get to the next things that we're going to be talking about, hit that subscribe button. There are videos on this channel that lead toward family unity, decreasing that sibling rivalry. There's so much wealth of information here. You are not going to want to miss it. Subscribe now. The next thing that you want to teach your children are skills. They need to know how to communicate with each other. So why are they fighting with each other in the first place? They want to be understood. They want to have a feeling of control. Maybe they want somebody to stop crossing over boundary lines. Well, there are skills for those things. In fact, I teach 4 basic skills that everyone needs to know, not even just the children. These children's books each teach the 4 basic skills that a person needs for success. So London LaRae Says Okay teaches following instructions. That's a 5-step skill. You look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, do the task immediately, and then check back. This purple book teaches disagreeing appropriately. That's Paige Takes the Stage. Porter Earns a Quarter teaches accepting no answers and criticism. This is going to be massively helpful because when a person crosses over a boundary line and takes something that doesn't belong to them, they're not accepting a no answer. That boundary line is a no answer. So they need that 4-step process for how to accept a no answer. And if the person does cross over the boundary line, the other child needs the disagree appropriately skill so that they can handle the problem without getting angry. The last skill is accepting consequences, and that skill is vital for learning self-government. If a child does not get the opportunity to accept their own consequences, then we are denying them the opportunity of learning self-government. It will always just be about what you did to them instead of about their own decisions and what they need to do to change. So let's focus for a minute on disagree appropriately. Disagreeing appropriately is a very mature skill. In fact, the disagree appropriately skill is the gateway skill to self-government. So our third thing that we can do is make sure we keep a disagree appropriately mindset. So when a person disagrees appropriately, they look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say that they understand the other person's point of view, and then share their point of view. Listen to what the other person has to say, and then say okay and drop the subject. Disagreeing appropriately will help the child have something else to do instead of talking back to you, but it will also help them discuss better so that they don't end up with so much sibling rivalry. So disagreeing appropriately is a skill that you want to work on. In fact, when you are telling them no for something, or when you're communicating with them about something they have to do when they're in the middle of something else, you might look at them, keep a calm face, voice, and body, and say something like, I know you're enjoying that game right now and you have wanted to play that all day, but right now I have an instruction for you. You need to whatever. So even though you are giving an instruction, which you don't have to say that you understand them to do, just coming at it with that mindset will remind them that when someone is talking to you about something you might not like, that's the frame of mind you want to stay in. The seek to understand, then to be understood mindset. The fourth thing is corrections. You do have to correct them. In fact, before you can correct them, you have to do the proper teaching, so that pre-teaching to prepare them for how the corrections will happen. So in my Teaching Self-Government course, I teach that there is a 7-step process to doing corrections. And there are other videos on this channel that go into more depth about that 7-step process. But when you correct your children, you want it to be something that feels completely safe, not emotional. You're not taking the fight personally. So you know what that means? That to do a proper correction, you need to be calm. A person who is calm does not take other people's words or behaviors or feelings personally. Instead, they acknowledge that it's there. They may even validate something, but then they immediately move on to helping the person through the problem. You need to help the children through the problem. And what is the most merciful thing you can do to help a child not choose to cross over those boundary lines or disagree in ways that are not appropriate again in the future? And that is to correct them and teach them cause and effect. For a person to learn self-government, which is what I teach, they have to learn cause and effect and be willing to self-assess. So the correction does that. It teaches cause and effect by providing the correction right after something occurred, and also by telling them that they get the opportunity to earn an extra chore or some sort of negative consequence that leads to character development. And then it also teaches them self-assessment because you're going to practice doing things the right way. So when you correct them, you describe what happened, why it wasn't a good idea, what they should have done, what they've earned. Practice it the right way, praise during the interactions, give them a motivation statement, and then send them on their way to do whatever negative consequence they might have earned so that they can check back with you and you can praise them at the end one more time. So corrections should not be negative, they should feel positive, and if you're calm, they will be. Now, speaking about calm, I have a gift for you. Because you've watched this video, I would like to give you one of my courses for free. This course is called the Calm Parenting Toolkit. It is a beginner course for people who are wanting to improve their calmness and start down the road to learning self-government. It will provide the tools that you need to start governing yourself and becoming more calm, as well as teaching your children calmness at the same time. So in the description below this video, there is a link to the Calm Parenting Toolkit. I believe it's the top link in the description section. So go to the description, click that link, and go to the Calm Parenting Toolkit and start it today, because for you, it will be completely free. Click that link now, and I will see you there.